At the very least, working with clients is challenging. You need patience, a great sense of humor, and the ability to communicate effectively regarding what it is you're doing, even when you have to do it through gritted teeth. Let's take a look at some of these challenges. Micromanaging is a big problem. Just because someone has used Facebook or has seen advertisements and postings doesn't mean they know all about marketing, but they might think they do. Even worse, they might have outdated knowledge, and then either way, you're not only having to get the project done, but you're having to educate them on what the new technology is and how it's best used, its best practices, so that you can get things done. There are so many things you need to do in a project, and if there are too many steps to getting approval to moving forward, you can end up stagnated, whether it's on your end or the customer end. So make sure that the approval process is as simple as possible so that your client sees steady progress every time you meet. And when you do meet, make sure that those benchmarks are clear and make sure that there's something visual. A lot of what you'll do is back end, and they don't necessarily understand what that is, that you're doing SEO optimization or something like that. So make sure that you include something visual so that they can see what you have going on, whether it's a data tracker for the analytics or a new logo, something. Give them something visual to look at each time you meet. Poor communication, poor briefs can be a difficult problem. As an example, you might start using marketing lingo. You might use abbreviations that your customers don't know. They may not feel comfortable asking you what they mean. They just get lost. So when you're meeting with your customers, make sure you use terms they understand. Talking with them about search engine analytics doesn't necessarily equate to real world for them. So much better to say, we're going to look at who's visiting your website and see what trends we can find. So that kind of thing would make more sense. When you do provide examples, tie it into something that connects with them so that they can understand and make those connections. Always put your phone away when you're with a customer. It is so rude, and you lose that emotional connection with your customer when you take a break and look at your phone. Let your customer know that they are your priority. Make them feel that they matter. If you wait too long between meetings, between benchmark meetings, you're going to lose them. Clients are excited about their project. Don't make them wait too long between meetings. They'll lose focus and forget their goals. Or worse yet, they'll come up with ideas. Ooh, hey, I saw this. Hey, this was a great idea. Hey, could we do this? And it definitely messes with scheduling and progress, and it can get ugly. As I mentioned before, visual benchmarks matter, but make them close enough that they can remember what you talked about previously. Clients invariably have unrealistic expectations. In their mind, the project looks like this, the way you've described it. Ooh, this is going to be cool and wonderful. Whereas you're planning in their budget, you're ending up with something more like this. So be sure that you are as clear as possible and that every benchmark establishes that clear and concise understanding. Project creep is the worst of everything. I can put up with a lot, but project creep is the worst as far as I'm concerned. So make sure everything is in writing. That way, if they say, hey, as long as we're doing this, can we? You're clearly able to say yes, and that will cost XYZ amount. Or that will add such and such number of hours to the project. Well, the new deadline then will be blah, blah, blah. So be very, very specific, very clear. When you're setting benchmarks, these are the 3 items. Use bullet points. Bullet points are fabulous. Clear benchmarks. These are the 3 things that we're going to be talking about during our next meeting. I need your decision on this. We're going to be reviewing this, and then we're going to discuss this. So be very clear. Frequent meetings doesn't mean you need to meet every day, but have them often enough that the customer stays connected. You might be working on multiple projects with multiple companies. So if a company waits too long between meetings, you'll have problems. So make sure that that doesn't happen. Involve all the decision makers whenever possible during meetings so that you're not having to wait to be able to move forward. You're able to say, okay, this is where we are. This is the decision that has to be made. And hopefully they can make the decision while you're there so that you're free to keep going. And most importantly, when you're all finished, celebrate. It's exciting to finish a project. Let your customer, let your client know that you're excited for them and that you're really ready to get going on that next phase. Work through things together, get things in writing, and work towards success. Working with clients doesn't have to be horrible, but it takes planning.